Thank you for watching, and stay with us as the news continues.
Now on News 4 at 6, this is the final broadcast for the legendary Chuck Scarborough. We bid farewell to a friend and celebrate his amazing career. His final words to you, our viewers, and our special tribute to him.
And subway meltdown, thousands trapped in tunnels, then evacuated. New details on the investigation into how several subway lines lost power.
On the trail of a suspected killer, new details you'll only see here about the alleged travels and timeline of Luigi Mangione. That is where we begin tonight at 6. I'm Natalie Pasquarella.
And I'm Chuck Scarborough. We're learning more about where investigators say Mangione went after the killing. Chief investigative reporter Jonathan Dienst spoke with two top NYPD officials today about the investigation. He joins us with what they had to say. John?
Chuck, Natalie, police say they believe Mangione's anger generally at the healthcare industry over his past back surgery may have been one key factor that led him to target that health insurance executive.
We have no indication that he was ever a client of United Healthcare, but he does make mention that it is the 5th largest corporation in America. That's possibly why he targeted that company.
Chief Joe Kenny also explained more about the back injury and surgery Mangione went through in July of 2023.
So the injury that he suffered was a life-changing, life-altering injury, and that's what may have put him on this path.
He detailed some of the evidence. Ballistics matched the gun through a test firing of that ghost gun. 5 fingerprints found on a water bottle, 2 fingerprints on an energy bar wrapper recovered from the scene, but they still have not gotten into what they believe is Mangione's cell phone. The chief says Mangione's family has not yet been interviewed.
We have had no contact with his family.
Detectives are still piecing together his timeline. After the shooting, investigators say Mangione traveled uptown by taxi to the GW Bridge bus terminal, but then took a subway back downtown to Penn Station, taking a bus from Midtown to Pennsylvania. And they're looking into when he withdrew the cash they found on him.
When I counted, he had over $5,000 worth of cash on him in $100 bills.
After the murder, there has been radical and extremist rhetoric posted online and on some posters put up downtown.
While the climate causes us concern, we have not received an influx of threats that are credible to CEOs, to corporations, or to anyone else.
Officials say this murder continues to be treated as a criminal act, but they're keeping an eye on any possible contagion into the realm of domestic terrorism.
A high-profile incident can have a similar impact as an act of terrorism. And that's why our job is to make sure that we're taking very seriously any threats.
As for the tipster in that Pennsylvania McDonald's, Chief Kenny says they are currently working with the Police Foundation to see if she can receive the reward money that was being offered. Natalie?
Chief investigative reporter Jonathan Dienst on the story tonight. John, thank you. I want to get to that subway meltdown last night in Brooklyn. Governor Kathy Hochul now calling for a full investigation into what caused the commuter chaos. Con Edison also trying to figure out what sparked a fire that then caused the massive power loss on the A, C, F, and G trains. Thousands of people were trapped in the tunnels. News 4's Melissa Colorado has the latest from downtown Brooklyn.
We had no cell service because we were in between stations. There was no AC on the train, and it was pretty crowded, so it got very hot very quickly.
Get me off this F train. That was the sentiment nearly 3,500 riders had last night after they were stuck inside 2 F trains between the J Street Metro Tech and Hoyt Skirmerhorn stations around 5:30 p.m. The culprit, according to the MTA, a substation fire that triggered an explosion and cut off power below.
We were shocked that, how is it possible that we could be stuck there for 2 hours?
Service on the A, C, F, and G lines was in shambles at the height of the evening rush. The MTA managed to get 3 trains back to their stations, but riders like Jennifer Young had to wait for firefighters to pry the doors open and escort them through the pitch-black tunnels.
I was waiting for people to get angry and for there to start to be irritable people. Everyone was so nice and kind.
MTA CEO Jano Lieber stressing the need for funding to improve the aging train system.
This is a 90-plus-year-old electrical facility that is exactly what we have identified as in urgent need of repair and investment.
Governor Hochul called the subway debacle unacceptable and said, "I have directed the MTA to do a full review with Con Edison of this incident to determine the cause of the delay and make sure it cannot happen in the future. We must invest in the system's state of good repair and fix problems that should have been taken care of decades ago." Young says there was one silver lining to her brutal commute, a train conductor named Teresa Footman.
And she was amazing because she was like, I understand, I sympathize, we're so sorry.
Services back to normal on the affected lines. In downtown Brooklyn, Melissa Colorado, News 4 New York.
We continue to follow breaking news in Brooklyn. A huge fire has destroyed at least one home, and the FDNY says it was started by welding equipment. This is video from Citizen App along East 4th Street in Gravesend. That roof from the home collapsed. Another was also damaged. The fire is now out, and there are no reports of anybody hurt. The NYPD released new video showing 3 people wanted in connection with 2 jewelry store robberies, one in Queens, one in Brooklyn. Both robberies, the thieves used sledgehammers to smash their way into the stores. $800,000 in jewelry was taken from a store in Jackson Heights. In the second break-in in Bay Ridge, the thieves left empty-handed.
Well, after more than 50 years, Chuck steps down from the anchor desk at the end of this newscast. Some surprises next, plus his final message to you ahead.
And we've got more cold weather to talk about in the tri-state. Definitely going to see chilly temperatures tonight. Those wind chills down into the single digits and teens. We are going to warm up, though, by Sunday, and rain returns on Monday. I'll have the details in the 10-day forecast coming up.
Tonight, anger growing over a lack of answers about those mysterious drone sightings over New Jersey. And the new start for a family struggling with medical debt after our reporting on liens placed by health providers. It's ahead on Nightly News.
You're watching News 4 New York at 6 with Chuck Scarborough, Natalie Pascarella, sports with Bruce Beck, and the most accurate forecast with meteorologist Janice Huff. This is News 4 New York at 6.
Hey Chuck, CJ here, Mayor of Rockefeller Center. 50 years of NBC. And here, I've been watching you come through this door for 23 years. We're gonna miss you. Bye, Chuck.
Although we'll miss seeing you on NBC4 each night, we wish you all the best as you begin this new chapter in your life. Like you, I know that it's tough to leave a job you love so much, but we both trust in the adventures that are ahead of us. Chuck, happy retirement.
I speak for everybody at News 4 that it is not going to be the same place. You have left a mark that is going to be far and wide and deep. Our station, our business, everything has been better when we get to work next to somebody like you. I am wishing you and Ellen all the best in your retirement. I love you, my friend.
Oh, that's fabulous. Al was just terrific. So it's Hoda.
Wonderful. And you've left your mark, indeed, a forever mark.
And you're fabulous too.
Thanks, Chuck.
I don't know what else you're going to be doing that.
We're going to keep you hanging on here because
they've kept this a secret from me. I don't know what's going to happen.
I know he has never not looked at the rundown of the newscast here, but get ready. We have another special message for you. We want you to take a look.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Campbell Brett.
And I'm Grace Brett.
Tonight we want to tell you about our granddaddy, Chuck Scarborough.
Can you believe he's been doing this for 50 years?
I can't imagine doing anything for 50 years.
Me neither. You've watched him on the news for so long.
But did you know he's a great skier and loves to ski with us?
Did you know Granddaddy and Grandmommy give the best gifts and great hugs?
Did you know last summer we built a goat cart together from scratch?
Did you know he loves to take his animals for long walks, even his cat? We love you so much, Granddaddy.
And we think your career is cool, but most of all, we're happy you're our granddaddy.
And now that you have more time on your hands, we hope to see you a lot.
A lot.
That was a complete surprise, but how fabulous. Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, they snuck that in. So what do you think? A lot more babysitting, a lot more time with the grandkids?
Apparently, I'm going to have to right there. Aren't they adorable, though?
They were so adorable. And the audience doesn't know too much about that, but I've known for years we share photos of our family. You are such a wonderful father and grandfather. It's so evident in all the stories we share together.
Thank you.
So, hey, they're maybe a future here at NBC4.
Yeah, they did pretty
well,
think? I think, yes.
They did pretty good. We're not done yet with this celebration. We have a very special story that not even Chuck knows about.
And back to business here. The December chill is back, and we'll stick around for the weekend. Storm Team 4's Janice Huff is straight ahead.
Well, Chuck, we've been pretty good at keeping secrets here today. You never walk into this studio not knowing the stories that we're doing in the newscast. But for more than 50 years, you have delivered the news to WNBC viewers. And now this is their message to you.
41 years ago, Susan Winding was an annoyed Channel 4 viewer from Rocky Point, Long Island. She was 13.
For several years, our high school marching band had been invited to perform for the Mets season opener.
And what a beautiful day we have for baseball here today.
And every year the news would cover the opening, and we were never shown on air. So off I went to state my dissatisfaction to the most important person I knew, Chuck Scarborough.
Susan, who now lives upstate, humorously recalled writing that childhood letter to Chuck when she heard he was retaring after
50 years, 8 months, and 17 days.
When I went to college and I moved away, every time I came home, many things had changed. But he was always there, and he always made me feel like I was home every time I saw him behind the news desk. And I just want to thank him for all of his years and congratulate him, and thank you.
So have thousands of viewers. For weeks, the accolades have poured into 30 Rock.
Chuck, I've been watching you since I had a full head of hair. Congratulations on your retirement. New York News will never, ever be the same without you.
You made New York City feel safer, and I want to thank you for 50 good years of great news and journalism.
50 years, wow. Scarborough, my man, setting records, breaking records.
Congratulations on your retirement and on your very long, wonderful career.
I just wanted to wish you all of the best and to thank you for all of the warmth and comfort that you've given to me and all of us over the years.
I've been a lifelong fan of yours, Chuck, for many, many years, and I want to wish you very well on your retirement.
The well wishes flooding our social media pages, too. Enjoyed him and Sue Simmons back in the day. A true newsman and distinguished gentleman. A gentleman and a scholar, an institution. A true journalist, a legend in the news business. But there was one message that seemed to cut through all of them. The fact that Chuck Scarborough is a class act.
You are the consummate professional and a great person.
New Jersey resident Tom Schwab talked about it when remembering how he scored an interview with Chuck when he was 12 years old, and Chuck became a mentor.
And when it came time for college, he was there to help write a recommendation letter.
Brooklyn's Dan Baraz recalls writing a letter while in high school asking Chuck for career advice, and Chuck said, sure, give me a call.
He didn't know me from anybody, and he was very gracious with his time. And as I said, I know how busy all these anchors are.
All that letter writing brings us back to Susan Winding, who put pen to paper, imagine that, and fired off that message to Chuck about coverage of her marching band at the Mets opening day, never expecting what landed in her mailbox in August of 1983.
I could not believe that I came home from school and my mom said, you have a letter. And I said, and I didn't think it was from Chuck Scarborough.
But indeed it was.
Dear Susan, sorry for the tardy reply to your letter and for not putting the Rocky Point Golden Eagles Marching Band on television. I trust the band is still playing its melodious best and that you aren't too angry with us. Sincerely, Chuck Scarborough.
Her first reaction?
I realized I didn't have an impact. We probably still wouldn't be shown on air, but I didn't care anymore.
To be sure, the Rocky Point Golden Eagles Marching Band is finally getting its moment here on News 4. This is the band at Shea Stadium on opening day. So Susan's wish did eventually come true. But that letter from Chuck meant so much more than seeing herself on TV.
He took the time to respond to this small girl from a small town with a small complaint, even though it felt very important to me at the time. And because he took me seriously, he made me feel that I too could have a voice. I really just wanted to let him know the effect that it had on me, that somebody as important as him would read my letter and actually respond. So I want to thank him for that, because that has stayed with me for all these years.
Oh my gosh, that's just fabulous.
That's the best.
It took us 42 years to get her back, but that's so wonderful. You know, I owe all of those people everything, because without their trust, I wouldn't have been here. I'm going to say something more about that a little bit later, but this is what a surprise! What a wonderful thing to have.
Do you remember the letter? I'm wondering.
Yeah, I sure do.
You do?
Yeah,
You remember.
It was fairly short, but on point. On point. You know, we like to do that.
You know, Chuck, it's so true. You do truly care about the viewers. It's not a cliche. It's the honest to goodness truth. I remember coming here 9 years ago and quite honestly being nervous to work with the Chuck Scarborough, the Janice Huff, and you were so kind to me. I thought they're going to be tough New Yorkers, and you were just the kindest, sweetest. You've been a great mentor. You have the biggest heart. Always a professional. When they say class act, that is you all the time, 24/7. I have never seen you not on par. And I am just so grateful, and I feel so lucky to have been able to work with you for this long. And I'm happy our friendship continues.
It's mutual. Believe me, it really is. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I'm going to have to retire more often.
Okay,
this is,
come back
yeah.
and we'll do it again next week. You doing okay?
Working with you too.
How you doing? Yeah. Oh, let me tell you, I could go on and on. Let's talk about you some more.
Yeah.
No, they say I have to do a little bit of weather, but Chuck,
okay,
you're the best. No one like you. We will miss you. We're missing you already, and you're still standing here. But thank you for everything. Thank you for everything, Chuck.
You bet.
All right, let's do a little weather then. Okay. I guess we'll do something. Talk about the cold a little bit, Chuck. When you head out the door, I hope you got your coat ready and your hat, your scarves, your gloves. Here comes the cold air coming right back at us. Temperatures are below zero right now across the northern tier. We're in the mid-30s, but it feels colder. With that flow across the Great Lakes, they're still getting that lake effect snow there too. Here it's dry and cold. Tomorrow again at 33 for the high, 36 on Saturday, 42 on Sunday. So you can see the trend. We're climbing up and out of the deep freeze slowly but surely. Right now, I don't see any skaters on the ice. Maybe it's too cold for them too, or they're taking a break. 35 degrees feels like 31. The winds aren't as strong as they were earlier, but they'll still be brisk through the night. So it's going to feel like the 20s as we go through the overnight. By tomorrow morning, it feels like the teens. So we still need to stay all layered up and ready to go for this cold. Through the day tomorrow, it still feels like the 20s. Now, here's what the thermometer says tonight. 14 in Monticello, 24 in the city, the coldest air since last February. The 5-day low temperature trend is climbing, so we'll be out of the 20s by Monday morning, 38, and Tuesday morning, 48, and Tuesday afternoon, temperatures will be in the 50s to near 60. The weekend looks nice. It'll be nice and sunny from Pittsburgh all the way to Boston. It does warm up and get a little cloudier on Monday. That's when we get our next chance for rain. But tonight, it's clear, it's breezy, and it's cold. 24 for the low, wind chills in the teens. 33 is the high tomorrow. You got to stay bundled up. The winds aren't as blustery, but still cold enough. 28 tomorrow night. The winds remain light, and Saturday's high, 36. So one more cold day before the warm-up comes. And here it comes in our exclusive 10-day forecast, along with our umbrellas. On Monday, the temperatures are near 50 with the rain showers. And on Tuesday, more rain in the forecast. And here we go, 50s to near 60 again. Partly cloudy skies on Wednesday, a high of 48. On Thursday, the showers are back, and because we got this drought thing going on, we still need more rain in the forecast. It's mostly cloudy on Friday, and then the winter solstice happens next Saturday. Our days will start to get longer, 38 for the high temperature. So you see the cold does come back. We're still in a bit of transition. We still have some warm weather in there for you, Chuck.
Yeah, quite the roller coaster.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Hi, and Chuck. Bruce isn't here for sports tonight because he's traveling, but he did have something to say to you on this very special night.
He walked through the doors of 30 Rock for the first time in 1974. The building has never been the same. That's because Chuck Scarborough brought with him elegance and excellence. And now he exits stage right, 51 years later, with the same humility. Yes, Chuck Scarborough is the most humble superstar I've ever known. So good luck, Chuck. It has been an honor and a privilege. And thank you for your trust, your tutelage, and your endearing friendship.
Bruce is fabulous. People know him on camera. When you know him personally, he is one of the nicest, most generous people at his time, and one of the best friends you'll have.
He truly is. We are all like a family here. That's how it feels.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. Humble superstar too. He got that on point, Janice, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. There's
not enough words to express how we feel about you, Chuck. I mean, you know, anyway, I think I'm done. I heard the rap in my ear, so I'm done.
We're all getting so verklempt.
Don't you cry.
Also, I already cried before the show earlier today. All right, still to come, Chuck's final word to you, the viewers.
Well, as you may have heard, this is my final broadcast as anchor of the evening news on NBC4 New York. First and foremost, I am profoundly grateful for your trust. Without that, I would not have survived for more than half a century in this job and been allowed to occupy this front row seat to history of our fascinating metropolis and the world beyond for so long. 4 months after I arrived in 1974, President Nixon, who won a landslide election just 2 years earlier, resigned, the first presidential resignation in the nation's history. In 1975, New York City plunged into effective bankruptcy, and the Vietnam War came to a chaotic end. The pace of breaking news has been relentless ever since. We've been through blackouts together, riots, crime waves, hurricanes, blizzards, economic crises, corruption, public and private, 9/11, wars, and a pandemic. But just as important were the stories of human achievement in the arts and sciences, of forgiveness, kindness, recovery, and resilience. If there is one overarching lesson I've learned, it is that. We are more resilient than we realize, individually and as a city and a nation. We get knocked down and we come back stronger. I will be eternally grateful for the privilege of working with so many dedicated, brilliant, and talented broadcast journalists on both sides of the camera, some risking their lives in dangerous places to bring you the news. In this age of algorithms and cable channels herding the citizenry into like-minded silos, of AI and social media fictions suffocating truth, it has never been more important to do what they do so well, hew to the basic principles of accuracy, objectivity, and fairness. I'm going to leave you now with a final thought I shared with my NBC colleagues earlier this year when they gathered in the Rainbow Room atop this building to celebrate my 50th anniversary with the National Broadcasting Company. Itself a quintessential American success story, founded by a Russian immigrant named David Sarnoff, who began by selling newspapers at age 15 to help support his struggling family. I urged my colleagues to do something I still do, to reestablish perspective, appreciation, a sense of mission. Walk out on Fifth Avenue and look back through the Channel Gardens, across the skating rink, above the statue, at this towering building with awe, and say, I work here. I work here, and this is important. What I do is important. I work for the National Broadcasting Company, the oldest and largest television network in this country, with a storied history. Feel the weight of that history and the weight of the responsibility that we all bear to get it right, to do it well, to make it interesting. It's an honor to work with you. That message was aimed at our work here, the grinding challenges of daily news gathering. But it just as easily applies to our city and to our country and to all of us, all of you. We all need to lift our eyes occasionally from the political fevers and societal imperfections of the day and appreciate what we have, how far we've come, and the opportunity we've been given to continue our journey toward a more perfect union. Thank you, and good night.
Tonight, the new details in the murder of the United Healthcare CEO and how the suspect fled from New York City.